The sky above Earth was dark with smoke. Cities that had once thrived with life and energy were now silent, broken, and filled with fear. Fires burned in the distance, their glow reflected in the eyes of those who had survived the first wave of the alien attack. Humanity was facing its darkest hour, and it seemed like hope had abandoned the world entirely. Captain Elena Voss stood on the balcony of the military command center, her hands gripping the railing tightly. Below, the city was a battlefield. Alien ships, sleek and black, hovered over the ruins, scanning for survivors. These were not ordinary invaders. They were precise, ruthless, and terrifyingly intelligent. Each ship moved as if it had a mind of its own, guided by the legendary alien queen who had led the attacks across continents. Elena's uniform was worn, her once pristine boots scuffed and dirty. She had been fighting since the first invasion, and yet, despite her experience, fear gnawed at her. But she would not allow it to control her. Humanity could not afford fear. Not now. The command center was filled with military officers and analysts, their faces etched with worry. On the massive screen at the front of the room, a live feed showed alien forces descending on a nearby city. Soldiers tried to coordinate defenses, but the aliens moved faster, smarter, and with terrifying efficiency. "Status report!" General Kerrigan barked, his voice sharp but weary. He was a man who had seen countless battles, yet even he seemed to be holding on by sheer will. "Major losses in the northern sector, sir," one officer replied. "Civilians are trapped. Evacuation is nearly impossible. The alien drones are overwhelming." Elena's eyes did not leave the screen. She studied the movement of the alien forces, noticing patterns that others seemed to overlook. There was something about the formation, subtle but real. The aliens were fast, but their movements had a rhythm, a weakness buried inside their precision. "Sir," she said, stepping forward, her voice steady, "if we focus all our defenses on the eastern flank and use a decoy strategy, we might be able to draw some of their forces away. It could give the civilians time to evacuate." The room fell silent. General Kerrigan turned slowly to face her, his eyes narrowing. "And why should we listen to a pilot, Captain? You're trained to fly, not command large-scale tactics." Elena did not flinch. "Because I've been studying their movements since the first wave. I've noticed they respond to patterns, to predictability. If we change the pattern, we can exploit it. We don't have the firepower to fight them head-on, but we can outsmart them." A murmur ran through the room. It was unusual for someone so young to speak with such authority, especially during a crisis like this. But Elena's calm confidence made them pause. Perhaps for the first time in days, they felt a flicker of hope. "Very well," General Kerrigan said slowly. "Prepare your squad for reconnaissance, but remember, failure is not an option." Elena nodded and turned toward the team waiting behind her. Her squad was small, but they were some of the best soldiers left. Lieutenant Rami Torres, a sharpshooter with nerves of steel, gave her a sharp nod. "We follow your lead, Captain." "Good," she replied. "Let's move." The city streets were a labyrinth of debris and smoke. Elena's squad moved carefully, keeping low to avoid detection. The alien drones patrolled relentlessly, scanning the ground with sharp red lights. The air was thick with tension. One wrong move, and they could be obliterated in an instant. Elena's mind worked quickly, calculating routes, predicting patrol patterns, and preparing contingencies. Every step was measured, every decision critical. Despite the danger, she felt a strange clarity. It was as if the chaos around her sharpened her senses. They reached the edge of a collapsed building and took a moment to catch their breath. From this vantage point, Elena could see the alien forces more clearly. Ships hovered above, drones scuttled below, and in the distance, the command ship, The centerpiece of the alien fleet, glowed ominously. This was where the alien queen orchestrated her attacks, the brain behind the destruction. "We need to get closer," Elena whispered. "If we can gather intel on the command ship, we might find a way to weaken their forces." Rami frowned. "You really think we can do that? It's heavily guarded." Elena's eyes were fierce. "We don't have a choice. If we wait, the city will fall and more lives will be lost. We have to act now, even if the risk is high." The team nodded silently. They trusted her, not just because of her rank, but because she had proven herself countless times. Together they advanced, moving from shadow to shadow, avoiding patrols and skirting danger at every turn. Inside the alien command ship, the alien queen observed the battlefield with a cold, calculating gaze. Her many eyes reflected the destruction below, and her mind worked like a supercomputer, processing thousands of variables at once. She had conquered countless worlds, and yet, something about humanity intrigued her. They were weak, fragile, and yet they fought with a stubbornness that was remarkable. "Report," she hissed to her lieutenant. "The humans are scattered, but morale is weakening." "They are losing hope, Your Majesty," the lieutenant replied. The alien queen tilted her head. "Hope is irrelevant. They will break. They always break." Yet, in her alien instincts, a tiny anomaly caught her attention. A subtle change in their formations, a shift in their behavior that did not fit the pattern. Her mind narrowed its focus. There was a human pilot, she realized, who was different. Elena and her squad reached the outskirts of the command ship's vicinity. The glow from the alien vessel illuminated the rubble, casting long, sharp shadows. Every drone that passed could see them. Every misstep could be their last. "We split into 2 groups," Elena instructed. "Rami, you and I will go closer to gather intel. The others provide cover. Keep your comms open and remember, stay calm. Panic will get us killed faster than the aliens ever could." Rami grinned. "You always make it sound so easy, Captain." Elena allowed herself a small smile. "Easy? Nothing about this is easy, but it's necessary." Moving carefully, they crept closer. Elena activated a small device that scanned the alien ship's emissions. She had been working on this prototype for months, a human-made counter to alien sensors. The device beeped softly, reading the ship's power outputs and energy shields. "Got it," she whispered. "They have a blind spot here near the lower docking bay. If we can relay this to command, they can send a strike team." Rami's eyes widened. That could actually work. Suddenly, a drone swooped down from above. Its sensors locked onto their position. Elena and Rami ducked behind a pile of rubble as the drone hovered, its red lights scanning the area. Time slowed as they held their breath. Then Elena's mind clicked. She remembered the patterns she had observed earlier. Moving slowly and unpredictably, she activated a small EMP device she had salvaged. The drone twitched, sparks flying, before it fell silent. "That's one," Rami whispered, a mix of awe and fear in his voice. Elena didn't respond. There was no time to celebrate. They had to complete their mission. Gathering the data, they signaled their squad to extract the information. The device had captured a detailed map of the alien ship's systems. It was a small victory, but a vital one. Back at the command center, General Kerrigan received the intel. His eyes widened as he studied the data. This could change everything. The alien queen has a weakness right under her nose." Elena's voice came over the comms. "Yes, sir, but it won't be easy. The path is dangerous, and the enemy is relentless. We need precision, courage, and faith in each other." The room fell silent. Her words carried weight. They had faced despair for too long, and for the first time a spark of hope ignited. Humanity might have been on the brink, but perhaps, just perhaps, they had a chance. Elena knew the road ahead would be perilous. The alien queen was formidable, cunning, and merciless. But she also knew one truth. Humans were resilient, resourceful, and never truly defeated when they refused to give up. As night fell over the war-torn city, Elena looked up at the alien ships hovering above. Her heart beat fast, but her resolve was steady. The battle was far from over, and the war had just entered a new, critical phase. Somewhere, deep inside the alien queen's command ship, an ancient and powerful force stirred, unaware that one human, one determined human, was about to change the course of the war forever. And Elena Voss was ready to stand. The city lay in ruins, yet amidst the rubble, there was movement. Captain Elena Voss stood with her squad inside a partially destroyed building. Dust hung heavy in the air, and the acrid smell of smoke filled their lungs. Every sound, the distant hum of alien drones, the crackle of fire, the faint groan of collapsing structures, was a reminder that the world they had known was gone. But in that darkness, a spark of defiance glimmered. Elena examined the data they had collected during their reconnaissance. The device she had used had mapped the alien queen's command ship and revealed a vulnerability. It was small, subtle, but it was enough. If exploited, it could disrupt her forces and give humanity a fighting chance. Lieutenant Rami Torres leaned over her shoulder, studying the screen. If we can hit that point, we could cripple her drones, but it's deep inside the command ship. How do we get in without being seen? Elena's eyes were sharp. We don't go in like soldiers, we go in like shadows. Stealth, timing, and misdirection. That's our only chance. The squad listened carefully. They were skilled, loyal, and willing to follow Elena anywhere. Yet even they could not hide the tension in their voices. And if we fail, one of them asked. Elena's face hardened. Then the city falls. The people we fight for, they die. We don't fail. We adapt. We fight smarter. That's how humans survive. Over the next few days, the team prepared. They salvaged weapons from destroyed alien drones, built improvised shields, and modified small hovercrafts to sneak through the city and dodge patrols. Every piece of equipment was human-made, pieced together from ingenuity and determination. Elena's leadership shone brightest during these preparations. She trained the squad tirelessly, drilling stealth maneuvers, quick escapes, and precise strikes. The city around them was still dangerous, but each member grew more confident. They were no longer just survivors. They were a strike team, ready to face the alien queen herself. Remember, Elena said during one practice session, this isn't about bravery alone. It's about thinking ahead. Anticipate their moves, be ready to adapt, and never underestimate the value of a single human mind. One idea, one action can change the battle. Rami grinned, adjusting his gear. You always make it sound like a game of chess. Elena allowed herself a brief smile. Chess is about strategy. War is about survival. But the principle is the same. Always think 2 steps ahead. On the 4th day, they moved out. The city was eerily quiet. Fires burned here and there, but the alien drones had mostly shifted to more strategic areas. Elena and her team used the debris and shadows to their advantage. As they advanced, they passed civilians hiding in basements and ruined buildings. Elena nodded to them, a gesture of hope. Some returned the nod, their eyes glimmering with trust. The team could not stop to save everyone, but the thought of protecting even a few motivated them further. They reached the outskirts of the city where the alien forces were heaviest. The command ship loomed overhead, a dark monolith against the burning sky. Drones patrolled in synchronized waves, and larger alien walkers stomped through the streets below, scanning for survivors. Every step was a risk, but Elena moved with purpose, her mind calculating paths, predicting drone sweeps and noting the timing of patrols. "This way," she whispered, leading the team through a narrow passage between two collapsed buildings. "We use the shadows. Stay low. Stay quiet." A drone's red sensor light passed over them, and the team held their breath. They waited for it to move on before continuing. It was slow, tense work, but Elena knew patience was essential. Every mistake could be fatal. As they reached the perimeter of the command ship, they encountered their first major obstacle, a heavily guarded energy gate. The gate pulsed with a strange alien energy that could disable human electronics instantly. Elena examined it quickly. "Rami, we can't go through here," she said softly. "We need to create a diversion." He frowned. "Like what? Blow it up?" Elena shook her head. "No, noise would bring more drones. We need subtlety." After a few tense minutes, she found a solution. Using a small EMP grenade she had crafted from salvaged drone parts, she set a timed pulse to disable the gate temporarily. "When this goes off, we run. Fast. Everyone ready?" The team nodded. Elena counted down silently in her mind. She activated the device. Sparks flew, the gate's hum faltered, and the field weakened. "Go!" she shouted. They dashed through, barely avoiding detection. Once inside, they were in the shadow of the command ship, beneath the massive hull that stretched into the sky. Alien drones moved in patterns overhead, scanning for intruders. Elena led the team carefully, staying low and using the terrain as cover. Inside a maintenance corridor, the team paused to catch their breath. Elena's hands were steady as she adjusted her equipment. "We're close," she whispered. "The control room is just ahead. Once we reach it, we plant the device and transmit the intel to command. Then, we fight to get out alive." Rami's face was tense. "And the Queen?" Elena's eyes hardened. "She will be there, but she underestimates humans. That's our advantage. She expects power to crush us. She doesn't expect strategy, courage, and stubbornness." The squad moved forward. The corridors were narrow, lined with alien machinery that hummed with energy. Sensors and cameras monitored every corner. Elena guided them carefully, avoiding patrols and traps. Suddenly, a drone rounded the corner. Elena froze, signaling the team to stay hidden. The drone paused, scanning the corridor. Her mind raced. With a precise throw, she launched a small mirror device that reflected the drone's sensors back on itself. Sparks flew, and the drone malfunctioned, crashing to the floor. "That's the difference between humans and aliens," Elena whispered. "We adapt." They reached the control room's entrance, a massive door of dark metal inscribed with alien symbols. Elena scanned it with the device she had brought. It detected the structural weak points in the door. "Rami, this is your moment," she said. He placed a small explosive charge at the identified points. 3, 2, 1. The door shuddered, then swung open just enough for the team to slip inside. They moved quickly, spreading out inside the vast chamber. Screens displayed data, alien symbols, and a holographic projection of the battlefield outside. And then, they saw her. The alien queen. She was taller than any human, her skin a metallic sheen, eyes glowing with intelligence and malice. She did not immediately attack, but her gaze swept over the humans, analyzing, calculating. Elena's squad tensed, but she stepped forward, calm and fearless. The queen spoke, her voice a low hiss that echoed through the chamber. "You are brave, little humans. But bravery is irrelevant. You cannot win." Elena's voice was firm. "We don't have to win today. We just have to start the fight. We are not defeated, not yet." The queen's eyes narrowed. She did not understand this human trait. Defiance in the face of overwhelming power. She had conquered worlds because fear subdued her enemies. These humans, they were different. Elena signaled Rami. He planted the device in the room's core systems. It was a small, human-made disruptor designed to overload the Queen's control network temporarily. The device activated. Screens flickered. Alarms rang. Drones outside malfunctioned. The Queen's expression shifted from calm to confusion. "It's impossible," she hissed. Elena smiled faintly. Not impossible, just human. The chaos outside grew. The squad had seconds to escape before the Queen's forces retaliated. Elena led them through maintenance tunnels, narrowly avoiding drones and alien guards. Explosions and sparks lit the corridors as the device's effects spread. Finally, they emerged outside, beneath the alien command ship. The city was alive with the sounds of rebellion, humans rallying, alien forces scrambling. Elena looked back at the towering ship. The Queen's control was weakening. It was not victory yet, but it was a start. Rami patted her shoulder. "You did it. We did it." Elena shook her head. "No, they did it. Humanity did it. One strike, one plan. One spark of defiance. That's how we survive." The sun began to rise, casting light on the broken city. It would take time, effort, and countless sacrifices to reclaim their world. But for the first time in days, hope was real. And somewhere in the shadows, the alien Queen realized that a single human, one determined, brave, and clever, had changed the rules of the war. The city was alive again, but in a chaotic, dangerous way. Fires still burned, smoke drifted across the skyline, and alien drones struggled to regain control after the disruption caused by Elena's team. Every street was a battlefield, every shadow a potential threat. But humans were fighting back, not as victims, but as strategists, survivors, and warriors. Captain Elena Voss led her squad cautiously through the rubble-filled streets. The mission had been only partially successful. The device they planted disrupted the alien Queen's drones and systems, but the Queen herself was still alive, and her power remained formidable. This was the moment to capitalize on the disruption, to strike decisively. "Keep your eyes sharp," Elena whispered. "The Queen's forces are regrouping, and they will be looking for us. Expect traps, expect ambushes, expect the unexpected." Lieutenant Rami Torres adjusted his weapon, his face grim. "Do they ever stop? Every corner has something new waiting to attack." Elena shook her head. "They adapt, and so must we. That's the only way humans survive." The streets were a maze of ruined buildings, overturned vehicles, and scattered debris. Despite the chaos, Elena noticed signs of human resistance growing stronger. Civilians were forming small militias, barricading streets, and using improvised weapons to fight the alien patrols. Their courage, though imperfect, inspired her. "Look at them," Elena murmured, pointing to a group defending a street with homemade turrets. "They're fighting because they believe they can survive. That belief is stronger than any weapon the aliens have." Rami glanced at her. "And they say humans can't beat aliens. Clearly they haven't met us." Elena allowed herself a small smile. "We're not finished yet. That's the important part." The squad advanced carefully, moving from shadow to shadow. Each step was calculated. Alien drones hovered above, scanning relentlessly. Every misstep could trigger an alarm, and every alarm could summon the alien Queen's elite guards. Their first major obstacle came in the form of a massive alien walker, its mechanical legs pounding the street as it scanned for intruders. It was larger than any drone they had faced before, armored in black metal that seemed impervious to small arms fire. Elena crouched behind a crumbled wall, whispering to her squad. "We can't take it head-on, but it has a weak point, near its joints. We need precision, not power." Rami nodded. "And how do we get close enough without it seeing us?" Elena pointed to a nearby building partially collapsed, forming a narrow passage. "Through there. Stick low, move fast, and when the moment comes, aim true." They moved carefully. Dust fell from ceilings, and every creak of metal made their hearts race. The walkers' sensors swept past, missing them by inches. Elena's team held their breath, every second stretching into eternity. Finally, they reached a vantage point. Rami aimed, and on Elena's signal, fired. The shot struck the joint perfectly, and the walker shuddered, sparks flying from its damaged limb. It roared, a terrifying, mechanical sound, but stumbled, giving them the opening to move past. "Good work," Elena whispered. "But stay alert. That was only the beginning." They pressed on, moving deeper into the city toward the alien command center. Every street brought new challenges, drones that adapted to their tactics, traps designed to funnel intruders into kill zones, and ambushes by alien infantry that moved with eerie coordination. Yet with every obstacle, Elena's team adapted. They used the environment to their advantage, collapsing buildings to block drones, rigging overturned vehicles as shields, and setting small traps to distract enemies. Each success built their confidence, but it also reminded them of the dangers they still faced. "Elena," Rami said as they paused behind a barricade, "I don't think people understand how dangerous this is. One mistake and—" "I know," she interrupted gently. "But we don't have the luxury of fear. Fear will freeze us, and that's when the aliens win. We move forward, we adapt, and we fight. That's the only way we survive." Her words, calm and firm, had a subtle power. Even in the midst of chaos, the squad felt steady. They were not just surviving, they were leading, inspiring others by their courage. As they approached the alien command center, the scale of the Queen's forces became clear. The streets were filled with patrols, drones hovered in waves, and massive energy barriers blocked most direct paths. Any attack would be suicidal without a plan. Elena studied the data they had collected during their infiltration. The command center had multiple vulnerabilities, weak points in the energy shields, blind spots in drone patrols, and choke points where a small human team could hold off larger alien forces temporarily. "We hit here," she said, pointing to a narrow alley leading to the base's perimeter. "It's risky, but it's our best chance. We'll move fast, strike hard, and then regroup. Precision, not numbers, will win this." Rami frowned. "And the Queen?" "She'll be there," Elena admitted. "But humans have something she underestimates: strategy, unpredictability, and courage. We are small, but we are dangerous when we act smart." Night fell as they advanced. The darkness helped them, hiding their movements from most drones. Still, tension ran high. Each corner could conceal death, and every shadow might hide an alien patrol. Suddenly, a patrol spotted them. Red sensor lights swept the alley, and mechanical voices shouted alarms. Elena's squad scattered, taking cover behind rubble. The patrol moved cautiously, searching for them. "Elena," Rami whispered, "we're exposed." "Not yet," she replied. "Watch their patterns. They're predictable if you look closely." Elena counted the drone's movements, timing each sweep carefully. With a deep breath, she signaled her team. On her mark, they moved, fast, silent, coordinated. The patrol's attention wavered just long enough for them to slip past, disappearing into the shadows. "That was too close," Rami muttered, breathing hard. Elena nodded. "Every step will be. But we move forward anyway. That's what humans do." Inside the command center, the alien Queen was aware of the disruption caused by Elena's team. Her many eyes scanned the streets below, analyzing human movements. She had anticipated control through fear and force, but these humans, small, clever, unpredictable, were proving difficult. "They are not defeated," she hissed. "One human, one persistent human, is changing everything." Her lieutenant stepped forward. "Your Majesty, we can deploy the elite guards. They will hunt them down." The Queen's gaze sharpened. "No, let them come." Let them learn the price of defiance. She did not fully understand human resilience. Humans were driven not only by survival, but by hope, by the desire to protect each other, and by the courage to face impossible odds. This defiance was alien to her, and it would cost her. Elena's team reached the final perimeter before the Queen's inner sanctum. Energy barriers pulsed, alien guards patrolled, and the sound of distant explosions echoed through the streets. The squad paused to assess their options. "We can't go in guns blazing," Elena said. "We need precision. Split into 2 groups. Rami, you take the eastern flank with me. The others create a distraction on the west. Timing is everything. One misstep and—" "Understood," Rami replied, determination in his eyes. They moved into position. The other squad members began their diversion, drawing drones and guards away from the central approach. Explosions and smoke created confusion, allowing Elena and Rami to advance toward the inner sanctum's entrance. Every step was tense. Red sensor lights swept past, and mechanical voices issued warnings. Elena and Rami slipped through shadows, narrowly avoiding detection, until they reached a maintenance hatch leading inside. "This is it," Elena whispered. "Once inside, we plant the device and disrupt her command systems. We'll have only moments before they realize. Stay sharp." Rami nodded. "We can do this." The maintenance hatch led into a labyrinth of corridors. Alien technology hummed around them, and holographic projections flickered with information about troop movements. Elena's device, a small human-made disruptor, was ready. Its goal, overload the Queen's internal systems temporarily, giving humanity a critical advantage. They reached the central chamber. The Queen's guards were fewer here, distracted by the chaos outside. Elena and Rami moved silently, planting the device at the core of the control systems. The device activated, screens flickered, alarms blared, drones outside faltered, energy shields wavered, and the Queen's systems struggled to regain control. Elena whispered, almost to herself, "One spark, one moment of courage can change the world." They slipped out just as the chaos reached its peak. Explosions shook the corridors, guards scrambled, and the city outside erupted into human-led resistance. Elena looked around at the team, breathing hard but alive. "Humans are small," she said quietly, "but dangerous, not because of strength, but because of courage, brains, and determination. This is how we fight back." Rami smiled, exhaustion and relief mingling on his face. "And we're just getting started." Above them, the alien Queen's gaze swept across the city. Her systems faltered, her control weakened, and a single thought repeated in her mind. One human had changed everything, and that human was Elena Voss. The city was alive with chaos and hope. Fires still burned, smoke curled into the sky, and the sounds of battle rang through every street. But this was no longer a story of humans running in fear. Humanity had found its spark. Humans were fighting back. Captain Elena Voss stood atop a crumbling building, surveying the city below. Her squad surrounded her, exhausted but alert. The device they had planted in the alien Queen's control systems was working. Alien drones faltered, their coordination broken, and human resistance forces were pushing the Queen's army back in many areas. But the real battle was still ahead. The Queen herself had not yet been confronted. Elena knew that taking her down, or at least striking a decisive blow, would determine the fate of the planet. "We move now," she said firmly. "The Queen's forces are scattered, her systems disrupted. If we strike, we have a chance to end this tonight." Lieutenant Rami Torres nodded. "I never thought I'd see this. Humans actually fighting back. It feels unreal." Elena's eyes softened. "It's real, and it's only possible because we never gave up." The streets below were a battlefield of fire and smoke. Alien drones, walkers, and soldiers moved erratically, confused by the disruption. Humans took advantage of every weakness, using improvised weapons, barricades, and guerrilla tactics. Civilians joined the fight wherever they could, inspired by the courage of Elena's strike team. Elena led her squad toward the core of the alien forces, the command tower that housed the alien queen. Every step was dangerous. Drones hovered above, laser beams scanning constantly. Alien walkers patrolled the streets, their mechanical footsteps shaking the ground. "We stick to shadows, use speed, and move as a unit," Elena instructed. "Discipline, timing, courage, that's our advantage." They moved carefully through the ruined streets. Sparks from damaged drones lit the darkness, casting flickering shadows on the walls. The team stayed low, silent, and focused. Even one mistake could end the mission and their lives. As they neared the command tower, the scale of the alien queen's power became clear. Massive energy barriers protected the entrances, and elite alien guards patrolled relentlessly. But thanks to the earlier disruption, there were gaps, small fleeting opportunities to slip through. Elena paused, scanning the barriers and the patrol patterns. "There, see the gap? We move fast, we strike hard, and we get inside before they react. Timing is everything." Rami glanced at her. "And the queen?" "She'll be there," Elena replied. "But humans have something she doesn't understand: courage, unpredictability, and the will to survive. We are small, but dangerous." The squad moved through the gaps with precision. Sparks flew from damaged barriers, alien alarms blared, and the city shook with explosions. Yet despite the chaos, Elena's team remained focused, disciplined, and determined. Inside the command tower, the alien queen sensed the disruption immediately. Her many eyes scanned the incoming humans, analyzing their movements, predicting their intentions. She had seen countless worlds fall before, conquered species with far greater strength. But these humans, small, clever, and relentless, were unlike any opponent she had faced. "They are persistent," she hissed. One human dares to challenge me." Her lieutenant approached cautiously. "Your Majesty, we can deploy the elite guards. They will stop them." "No," the queen replied coldly. "Let them come. Let them feel the cost of defiance. Let them learn that hope is meaningless." Elena and Rami reached the final corridor leading to the queen's chamber. Energy barriers shimmered, and alien guards patrolled in tight formations. Elena studied the patterns carefully. "We can't fight all of them," she whispered. "We use speed and precision. One mistake, and it's over. But we can do this. Stay with me." The squad moved quickly. Elena led them through shadows and debris, slipping past the guards, avoiding lasers and energy traps. Every step required perfect timing, every breath counted. Finally, they reached the massive doors of the alien queen's chamber. The air vibrated with energy, a low hum that made their skin tingle. Elena placed her hand on the door, taking a deep breath. "This is it," she said. "One final stand." Rami nodded. "Let's finish it." Inside the chamber, the alien queen awaited. She was taller than any human, her metallic skin reflecting the dim light of the room, eyes glowing with intelligence and power. The chamber was filled with alien machinery, holographic projections, and the humming of energy systems. "You are brave, little humans," the queen hissed, "but bravery is irrelevant. You cannot defeat me." Elena stepped forward, voice steady. "We don't have to defeat you with strength. We defeat you with courage, strategy, and the will to survive. That's what humans do." The queen narrowed her eyes. She had never encountered an opponent like Elena. A human who refused to fear her, who refused to yield, who acted with precision, intelligence, and bravery. Elena signaled Rami. Together, they activated the device that would overload the queen's internal systems. Sparks flew, lights flickered, and alarms blared. alien guards were temporarily paralyzed and drones faltered mid-flight. The Queen roared in anger and frustration, realizing her control was slipping. "You think this will stop me?" she hissed. "No," Elena replied. "It's just the beginning. Humans are more than machines. We adapt, we fight, and we never give up." The Queen lunged, moving faster than any human could follow. But Elena was ready. Using her knowledge of the chamber's layout, she led the Queen into a series of traps, improvising as she went. Sparks flew, machinery fell, and the Queen's systems continued to falter. Outside, humans rallied. Inspired by Elena's strike, civilians and soldiers fought together, pushing the alien forces back. Explosions rocked the city as humans reclaimed streets, disabling alien drones and cutting off reinforcements. Elena's voice echoed through her comms. "We have a chance. Fight for every street, every building, every life. Show them the strength of humanity." The message spread quickly. Resistance forces, emboldened by hope, moved like a wave through the city. The Queen's army, disrupted and disoriented, could not hold its ground. Inside the chamber, Elena faced the Queen directly. Every move was a test of skill, courage, and intellect. The Queen struck with incredible speed and strength, but Elena dodged, used the environment, and exploited weak points in the alien systems. "You are persistent," the Queen hissed, "but this world is mine." "Not while humans still stand," Elena replied. "We fight for our world, for our people, for hope." With a final surge, Elena activated the disruptor fully. The Queen's systems overloaded, lights flickered, and her drones fell from the sky like leaves in a storm. She stumbled, weakened, unable to maintain control of her forces. Elena pressed forward, never backing down, showing a defiance that no alien had ever faced. The Queen roared, then paused, realizing that her power had been broken, not by brute force, but by courage, ingenuity, and determination. Outside, the city erupted in victory. Humans reclaimed streets, pulling survivors from rubble and pushing alien forces into retreat. The once overwhelming alien army was shattered, and humanity was finally free to breathe, fight, and rebuild. Elena emerged from the chamber, her squad around her, tired but victorious. She looked at the city, at the people cheering, at the soldiers raising their weapons in triumph. "We did it," Rami said softly, awe in his voice. "No," Elena replied, smiling faintly. "They did it. Humanity did it. One human, yes, but countless hearts, countless minds, countless acts of courage. That is why we survive." The alien Queen retreated, weakened and defeated, leaving humanity victorious for now. She had underestimated the power of human spirit, the courage to stand, to resist, and to fight against impossible odds. Elena stood atop a building, watching the sunrise over the city. The fires were still there, but so was hope. Humans had faced extinction and had refused to bow. They had adapted, fought smart, and reminded the universe that they were not to be underestimated. For Captain Elena Voss, this was more than victory. It was proof that even one human, determined, clever, and brave, could stand against overwhelming odds and inspire the world to rise. The battle was won, but the war for Earth's future would continue. Yet humanity had learned its lesson. Courage, intelligence, and unity were stronger than fear, and hope could never be extinguished as long as one human stood up to face the darkness. And in that moment, Elena Voss and all of humanity had truly stood tall.